Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that think multitasking is quite a cool thing to do. But how about if we was to gain this wisdom that it might not be as cool as we think? I read somewhere that there's some studies been going on as well, that people that are trying to do too many things at one time, even though they're getting this false sense of pride, thinking, oh, I'm so amazing, I'm able to do all of these things at the same time. But they're saying that it's not necessarily having a good effect on their mental well-being and on their mind. It can actually be something that eventually could even cause a breakdown or a burnout. This actually relates very closely to what we think meditation is. Even though now we're trying to move ahead, even though now we're trying to understand things from a more broad perspective and trying to break out that ideology that meditation is only sitting down with our eyes closed and sitting in a certain posture with our hands in a certain way, and then trying to focus and meditate on something. But that is just a stepping stone. That is actually just a means of then becoming conscious in all aspects of our life. So I'm sure how many of you can actually relate to this? How many of you can relate to sitting on the breakfast table and at the same time starting to eat your breakfast, but then having a chat as well, and then looking over, switching the TV on, getting your phone out and putting on some YouTube, trying to eat your own food, feed your child as well, and trying to listen to something at the same time and have a quick conversation as well. All this is going on. It doesn't stop there. We get to work, get to the office, and we're thinking, you know what, I could do with going home earlier. I could do with getting this work out of the way. So you know what, I'll just eat at my desk. Carry on the computer, looking at the screen, and at the same time there's food going into our mouth. And we're not even acknowledging, not even being present to that food that we're actually taking in. And it's not just with food, it's not only just during breakfast time, we're doing that with so many things. Somebody could be driving their car, but even whilst driving the car, that yes, it was very common, people would have their music on in the background whilst they're driving the car and enjoying that, but now we'll even try to watch a video at the same time as they're driving the car. We'll even try and read an article at the same time as we're driving our car. We're trying to fit in and do so many things just in one go. This is actually taking us further and further away from experiencing what we call life. It's taking us away from experiencing the source of life. It's getting us further away from experiencing Nirakar, that formless. It's taking us further away to experience the manifestation of that Nirakar, which is the form of that one. So, meditation, a big slap in my own face. We were sitting down with a great saintly being and sat down to eat some food, and somebody asked another Sikh, somebody that is seeking to go deeper inside of themselves to have that realization, asked the question to this great being, said, what can we do? He said, I wake up in the morning, early hours of the morning I rise, and I jap naam, I sit there for an hour and repeat Vaheguru, Vaheguru for an hour, do my nitnem, read Gurbani as well, read the Guru's words, take in the Guru's wisdom. He said, but it still feels like I need to do more. There's something that still feels like missing. And the answer that came from this saintly being was that, he said, to start to experience and go deeper, he said the first step to take is, he goes, how about shutting up and eating your food now without talking? And we obviously went all quiet, thinking, wow. And when we look at Gurbani, it's exactly what Gurbani is saying. We need to take our meditation in every moment of our life. We all read, Jo saas gras te aaye mera har har, so gur sikh guru man paave. We talk about this saas gras. We talk, and often this saas gras is translated to breath in, breath out. But we often miss out the word gras. Gras comes from the word grahi. Grahi comes from the word tota, a little piece. And that piece is referring to that grain, that food, that roti, that piece of bread. That when we're putting that in our mouth, how conscious are we? How focused are we? You know what? I feel shameful for speaking about this because even knowing, having this knowledge, I still struggle to actually practice this. Why? Because of habits. Habits are so difficult to break out of. But those little moments we have of practicing something like this will start to feel more centered, start to feel more balanced, and we'll actually start to feel more at peace. And just for that moment, let's try this, let's practice this. Many times people give us many different jugtiyan, many different ways of sitting, of keeping our back straight, of sitting in a certain posture. How about trying to do this? How about taking this away? Don't say anything. Just look at that food that is placed before us, and that thanking or saying whatever grace in whichever way. Some people decide to take a salok from Sukhmani Sahib. Some people decide to take different parts of Gurbani. So, Kaam, Krodh, Ar Lobh Moh, Ben Sajai Ahmev, Nanak Prabh Saranagati, Kar Prasad Gurdev. But when we look at this, what are we actually doing? It's looking at that food, and it's not just saying the Guru's words, but it's actually feeling and experiencing for that moment, just looking at the food and saying, Jeh Prasad, Chatti Amrit Khahe, that with the grace of that one, that I'm privileged, I'm fortunate enough to have this food in front of me, Jai Prasad, Chatti Amrit Khahe, this Thakur ko rakh man mahe, that I keep that Thakur, that giver, within my mind. Now that is my focus, that's become my dhyan, that's become my bhakti, that's become my meditation, that's become my devotion towards that one. I know that I've not created that earth to be able to get that food, to get that grain. I know there's somebody behind there that's provided the necessities for me to be able to get that. So my dhyan is in that one. And I do nothing else during that time. No computer, no talking, no nothing. But I watch myself take jo saas. With every breath I'm conscious, and that I'm taking that gras, I'm taking that morsel of food, and I'm putting it into my mouth. And just being present with life for that moment. How many times does this happen to us? We keep thinking that we need to get somewhere. How many times does this happen to us? That we're traveling, but because we're using this as an example now, we're eating that food and we think that I need to finish this food so I can get to there. When I get to there, I'm going to then connect to my Guru, connect with the Sangat, connect to Waheguru. I'm going to go and eat this langar quickly, and I'm going to get into the Darbar Sahib. I'm going to eat this breakfast quickly so I can go out and earn money because that's what we need. I'm going to go to school and learn because that's what I need. But no, we're missing life. We're traveling in a car somewhere to get to a program, to get to an event, to get to somewhere, to get to a beautiful place, to get to a holiday. But we're forgetting to live in that moment, to be in that meditative state in that moment. There's nowhere to get to, Sangat Ji. There is going to be nothing greater than there could be in that moment. Being conscious to that moment is also, that could be, if not more powerful, the same meditation when we try and sit, of just taking that in and being in that realization of that one being behind it, the one that is giving me, because my focus is there and I'm not doing anything else. It will definitely start to change our life. When we're showering in the morning, having a bath in the morning, sometimes it's obviously great to try and read multiple shabads and do jap of mantras as well. But how about one day just trying those shabads that we're going to read them before or after, but that moment we try and shower, have appreciation for that water. Are we the creator of that water? No. That's why we say Pavan Guru, Pani Pita, that this is like a father. This water is like a father having that appreciation for that water, that I've got no power over it. It's the source of, it's a part of being the source of my life, and being present for that every sensation, that water going upon our body and cleansing us, what it's actually doing for us. That's meditation too. And not thinking only that is, not thinking after the shower I need to get somewhere where then I'm going to sit down to do bhakti. Remember Sangat Ji, sometimes when we get to that place, it's not as great as we thought it was going to be. And because of that expectation, we think, oh, we waited all this time to get here, and it's not even what I thought it was going to be, because we're constantly trying to get somewhere. But if we just drop in that moment, jo saas graas te aaye mera har har, that every moment, uthat, baithat, sovat, naam uthat baitat means when we're going about every moment, it's because we keep trying to do something. We're trying to memorize something, trying to think of something, but not just thinking, wow, this water, being in appreciation of that. And then it will definitely start to put us at more ease, start to take away our anxieties, start to take away thinking we need to get somewhere, and realizing this very moment is amazing and beautiful. We need to just be in that realization of how great every moment actually is. So this can be practiced from the moment you wake up. Like we've just gone through Ishanan, we've gone through breakfast, we've gone through lunch, and now you just put it into your own situations, in your own time in life. When somebody's talking to you, not clicking away on that phone. Just listen to someone, and how powerful that can be. It's actually being present to that person, forgetting everything else for that moment, just being absorbed in that person speaking to us. That is meditation. So let's take this meditation, not just for yourselves, but for this fool as well. That whilst I make this video, as it's giving somebody else wisdom, allow it to wake me up as well. Even though I do try, so it's not that I don't, but I'd like to do it more often, because I know that's where sukh is, because I know that's where constant true joy is, that will never come to an end. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.